And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Luke chapter 21, verse 25 and 26. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to your Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran coming back at you with another lesson, Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, today is April the 6th. All right, April 6th, which is 4/6/2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And yesterday was a big day. All right, at least up here in the Northeast. Okay, we had two different earthquakes. All right, and I believe one of them was 4.8. All right, so I believe, through the spirit, that was a major omen. All right, as we are entering into this next eclipse, another sign, all right, of the heavens, or in the heavens, on 4/8, which is April the 8th, coming up on Monday. All right, and it also happened to be a night where at sundown is the Sabbath. All right, so through the spirit, when you look at the left-hand side and you look at the right-hand side, there's a lot of things going on, all orchestrated by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. As a matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Okay, and then I'm going to go into a few headlines that popped up yesterday that I found very interesting in the midst of all the things that's going on now. All right, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 7. It says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. All right, so when you go into the word evil, all right, it means what? A bad time. Okay, a bad time. And clearly, before the Lord does something, he gives warnings, he gives signs. All right, the biggest sign that the Lord always gives to anyone is the prophets. All right, you first hear it, and then the things that you've heard eventually becomes manifest. Okay, now the prophets coming on the scene, we haven't prophesied anything but evil. Okay, as it tells you in Ezekiel, the 7th chapter. All right, an evil is come. Let's get that. Okay, because all these signs are leading to a time like never before. Okay, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7. Start off at verse, let's see. Let's start off at verse 5. It says, Thus saith the Lord power, an evil, and only evil is come. Or behold, is come. It says, an end is come. The end is come. It watches for thee. Behold, it is come. Okay, so the number one sign that you're going to get before the end comes is who? The prophets. Okay, and then the prophets are going to tell you what signs to look out for, whether it be up in the heavens or whether it be on the earth. Okay, but specifically coming from the scriptures known as prophecy. Okay, or the prophecies. All right, so we talked about wars and rumors of wars, what countries are going to be partaking in these times of wars, right? And lo and behold, you have those major countries, all right, now being in the headlines of the next Third World War. Okay, you have Israel, which is in the mix, right? It tells you in Jeremiah the 49th and 50th chapter, right, that the least of the flock shall draw them out. Okay, and since October, which this month marks 6 months, right? So it's very interesting. The month of April is 6 months since they started this war against the Palestinians. Okay, so with that war, they've been drawing in a lot of these other countries. Okay, whether it be the NATO countries or the countries that will be in opposition to NATO. Okay, for the Lord's war, otherwise known as Armageddon. Okay, the Third World War. Okay, so these countries are gathering, like it tells you in, I believe, the book of Joel, right? Prepare war, gather the mighty men, and so on and so forth, right? So these mighty men are gathering, and constantly you're seeing all these omens that's signifying the end of Israel and the end of America, Babylon the Great. Okay, that's where the major collapse will happen, America. Okay, because the downfall of America, okay, will be the significance and the downfall of Esau Edom and his power. Okay, because this is where his power source comes from, America. All right, all the power that they have in influencing and controlling the affairs of this world, all right, all comes from America, Babylon the Great. Okay, the confusion that you see in the world is orchestrated through America, Babylon the Great. Okay, when you look at World War I, okay, it wasn't until America got in the fold of it, that's when there was a decision that was made. Okay, when you look at World War II, it wasn't until when America got involved, that's when a decision was made. And now you're looking at World War III, all right, it's not until America gets involved physically, that's when another decision, and the final decision will be made. Okay, so let's I want to look at this real quick here. All right, there's an article or headline actually this morning, it was an hour ago. It says U.S. preparing for significant attack from Iran expected within 1 week. Okay, now it's interesting because once again you're hearing hey, enough. You're hearing the wars and rumors of wars. Okay, U.S. preparing for significant attack from Iran. Now, Iran is a major player, okay, in terms of prophecy. All right, because once Iran and Israel start going at it, that's going to draw in the major powers on both sides. Okay, you're going to have Russia get involved, okay, to back the Iranians. And then you're going to have the Americans and the rest of their armies, all right, to back the Israeli armies. Okay, just like they've always done. Okay, now I'll give an example. When you go back into World War I, okay, when I believe through these patterns of history, the Third World War could commence another way, right? In the sense that they saying that what Iran is preparing for an attack against the U.S., right? Or U.S. is prepared for a significant attack from Iran. Now, what kind of attack? When you think of those kind of things, before we even go into the article, one might say, "Oh, I mean, what kind of attack is it? Does that mean that America is going to get hit?" Well, not necessarily on American soil, right? It could be some form of cyber attack, right? It could be some form of, terrorist attack, like they always say, right? But I believe it's going to be some form of attack out in the Middle East, okay? Whether it be a ship that gets hit, all right? And those kind of things tend to escalate the war tensions, okay? Because America went to war, I believe World War I, all right? America joined and became the ally of Britain, all right, to defeat the Germans because of a fabrication of one of U.S.'s ships getting bombed. Okay, I believe it was the SS Sussex, if I'm not mistaken. And at that time, it was Woodrow Wilson. Okay, and he pitched his case to Congress to declare war, all right, against Germany. Okay, so he informed Congress that that a German submarine had basically sunk the SS Sussex in the English Channel, which clearly will be a violation of international law, right? And he said that, oh, there was U.S. Members or citizens that were on the Sussex, and they got deceased, right? They got offed, okay, with the ship. And then it wasn't later on, all right, that there was a discovery that, oh, that was all a hoax. But nonetheless, what happened was America declared war on Germany. Okay, literally, I think 4 days apart. Okay, he went to Congress on, I believe, April 2nd, 1917, and on April 6th, 1917, war was declared on Germany. Okay, a similar thing happened for World War II. Okay, I forget who the president was at that time. Was it Eisenhower? No, it wasn't Eisenhower. I forget exactly who it was. I can go back and check, But he also wanted to engage in the war against Germany once again, all right, by attacking, low-key attacking Japan for Japan to retaliate, And then when Japan retaliated, right, he said, oh, look, see, Germany, Germany had to basically come and aid Japan. Hence, America was at war with Germany. Okay, so, we could see a similar thing play out, with the backstories and so on and so forth. But let's get this real quick. I just want to read a few. Where is this thing? There you go. I just want to read a few of what they have here, right? It says the United States is preparing for an attack from Iran, according to senior Biden administration officials. The president and the prime minister of Israel spoke about these threats yesterday, as the White House noted in its readout. A senior administration official said in a statement, "Our teams have been in regular and continuous contact since then. The United States fully supports the defense of Israel against threats from Iran." Ooh, okay. It says, "I will not go beyond that given the sensitivity of the topic and information based on intelligence sources." All right, so that's all you need to know. Okay, that they are definitely planning something, all right, behind the scenes. Okay, that officially, all right, fulfills, okay, the prophecy of wars and rumors of wars, as is prophesied by our Lord Yahushua in Luke the 21st chapter, Matthew the 24th chapter, and Mark the 13th chapter. Okay, now in that prophecy, that's enough. In that prophecy, you have Yahushua talks about not only wars and rumors of wars, he talks about earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, he talked about famines, and he also talked about pestilences. Okay, now recently, again, like I said, we're just gonna attack a few of the headlines, right? Recently, you've had basically the so-called officials sounding the alarm bells of another so-called demic. All right, that's about to hit, and it's very interesting that it's happening right around this time. Okay, and the news goes, it says deadly bird flu is dangerously close, okay, to being next demic and could be 100 times worse than CV, experts warn. So now it's starting to make sense why many different states are declaring state of emergencies and, sending out their National Guard and so on and so forth, taking all these, what one would call extra precautionary measures that are very unusual for a so-called eclipse, right? So, an eclipse that, number one, marks an X over America. Number two, you have CERN firing up on that specific day. Number three, you have NASA, all right, shooting 3 rockets. And those 3 rockets apparently is named after an Egyptian deity signifying death, destruction, and chaos, or some bullshit like that. Okay, again, going into the left-hand side energy. Okay, which again, hey, let's get that real quick. All right, it tells you that in Isaiah. All right, Isaiah 47, I believe. Let's go into it real quick. There you go, Isaiah 47 and verse, start off at 11. It says, "Therefore shall evil come upon thee." Once again, that word evil is back in the frame, right? Because we're in the time of evil. Okay, bad time being sent by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, it tells you that in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, that when we start to see the signs past, all right, some of the signs past, then shall we well know and understand that the highest has begun to visit the world which he made. Okay, so he's doing it by what? By the elements, all right, but also ultimately by Esau Edom, his left-hand side. Okay, so it says, "Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly." Right, the Apostle Paul talks about sudden destruction that cometh upon the people who are unawares. Okay, there's a sense of something that happens suddenly that kicks off many different, basically, like Yahushua said, the beginning of sorrows. Okay, so we're seeing the signs that leads to that beginning of sorrows, right? Right. So let's continue. It says, "And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know." Verse 12, there's a key. "Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail." Right? But you're not going to prevail. Okay? So firing up CERN on that specific day of the eclipse. Okay? You have CERN, they have the statue of what they call the Hindu goddess Shiva, all right, which is She also symbolizes chaos, all right, death and destruction. Okay, so they have that going on, right? They have, like I said, NASA, right? Which in the scriptures, when you go into that word NASA, which means what? Serpent or deceiver, all right? So you have those things to look into, right? And then you see all these different, let's not forget so-called this guy, Aleister Crowley, all right, about 120 years ago, he did a ritual on April 8th, all right? I think it was a Thelema or something like that, whatever, that satanic witchcraft bullshit that they be going into, right? And that leads me to believe, personally, I'm just going to put this out there, there's a reason why last year they started doing the DEW out in Maui, Hawaii, all right? And I have a theory that that's where they're gonna be doing a high level satanic ritual over there. There's a reason why they had to clear out the space, burn out all those people's houses to get them up out of there. And then only the so-called celebrities who had blue roof on top of their buildings, they were the only ones who were able to stay because their houses didn't get touched, right? But everybody else, they got dispersed. And they wouldn't even let them back in, right? They wouldn't let them back in. So it makes me believe, Hawaii is a separate place, right? And of course, they get all these people up out of there. So now they have all that space and, it's an island. So who knows what kind of trafficking is going to be happening, what kind of rituals is going to be happening in Hawaii. Some of these, Samoans and all these different people, that live on that island, they're heavy into witchcraft. Okay, they get into all these left-handed energy and shit like that. So that place is high level, what I'm saying? So I'm not surprised, right? Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if we come to find out that some heavy ass satanic shit goes on that day around that area, basically giving some form of satanic sacrifice, on a whole nother level, on a high scale. You know what I'm saying? To feed the beast, So, hey, who knows, man? But we pay attention and we see what happens. But again, that's just my theory. That what happened in Maui last year it wasn't a coincidence and didn't happen for no reason. All right. Maybe they set it up, with all these high level celebrities all of a sudden buying mansions over there, setting things up over there and shit like that. Who knows? Right. But they might be setting something up. All right. So they could perform some form of satanic ritual up there and nobody's going to know about it because it's an island. Right. So we'll pay attention and we'll see what happens. Some information might come out, or surely will come out, as the Lord said, right? But again, these devils are what? They're going back into their enchantments, okay? Let's go to Isaiah 47:13. Continuing, it says, "Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee," right? So the Lord is basically mocking and saying, regardless of your CERN and you're trying to shoot 3 rockets into up out of space and all these different things, right? It's not going to change anything. It's not going to change the trajectory of you going down. Okay? It's not going to change anything. All right? It's just another sign of you going down in your pride. Okay? So let's go back to the headlines once again. Okay? So now we've seen the wars and rumors of wars, right? We've seen well, let's look at this. Okay. It says deadly bird flu is dangerously close to being next demic and could be 100 times worse than CV, experts warn. So if everything that people went through during CV, right, the shock, the death, the new world in which we're living in, right, the draconian measures, right, the weirdo, I call it the weirdoism of Americans today, all that shit that happened. Okay, you mean to tell me that this next thing is going to be 100 times worse? Let's see. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. And it's all leading to famine. Because of this, right, it's an excuse for them to kill off a lot of animals, right, and food, food, basically. Okay, birds or chickens and shit, getting cooked, eggs being destroyed, cows being cooked, you know what I'm saying? All kinds of shit happening. Factories burning down, right? Like a couple of years ago, that was a theme. Factories was just getting burned down left and right. Food processing plants getting burned down left and right. Last year you had the train derailments, This year you got bridges. You see what I'm saying? So you notice the pattern, right? It's an attack on the American infrastructure and the American people, which the Lord is doing. All right. He's giving the orders on the left-hand side, and it's all tactical. Okay. The plagues of Egypt. All right. So it says bird flu is dangerously close to triggering the next human demic. Experts have warned. Scientists raised concerns after a person in the U.S. caught the disease from a cow, suggesting the highly pathogenic H5N1 is becoming better at spreading. And I remember they had a bird flu that hit, back in 2009, something like that. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I vaguely remember that. You know, people were like, yo, get your hand sanitizer and yo, wear your mask, all that shit. You know, it says the new case discovered in Texas, and it's interesting the color of the cow that they have here. It says 135 on the ear tag, and it looks like a red heifer. It's very interesting. So it says the new case discovered in Texas spurred an emergency briefing attending by bird flu researchers, doctors, and officials from government agencies. Dr. Suresh let's just say Dr. Suresh, a bird flu researcher in Pittsburgh, warned, this virus has been on the top of the endemic list for many, many years and probably decades. Interesting. As now we are getting dangerously close to this virus potentially causing a demic, Mail Online reports. So you've had this virus for decades and you don't got no cure for it? Now all of a sudden it's about to become endemic? Yeah, okay. It says UK expert Professor James Wood from the University of Cambridge and co-director of Cambridge Infectious Diseases suggested, however, that this case by itself is not a cause for concern. Well, concern, right? With CERN. And I'm just playing. It says the finding of a single human case in the U.S. does not indicate that the virus is about to become a human demic, he told The Sun. Oh shit. He told The Sun, right? The sun, the moon, you know. It says, there has been a huge degree of human exposure with this clade of viruses over the last 3 years. And what is remarkable is that so few human cases have been detected, he added. In recent years, H5N1 has killed millions of wild birds and poultry across the world. It has also started to jump to other animals, including cats, bears, foxes, mink, and sea lions. This is very interesting because I remember, what's his name? Tedros, that demon. Was a year or two ago. He came out and said, "Oh, we're noticing that there's I'll put that in the post production. I'll find the video and put in the post production." But he mentioned mink and lions and sea lions and shit like that too, about how they've noticed this disease in them, and it could potentially spread to humans, and it could spike a global health crisis for international concern, and that'll be a problem. All right, that'll kick in the Hudat One Accord Treaty, which I believe they're gonna finalize in May. Right, that's next month. Okay, and that'll basically give to Tedros or whoever the Hudat health director is going to be, all right, they're going to have dictatorial powers over 194 nations, pretty much the whole world. Okay, and that's going to be hell right there. You want to talk about perplexity of the nations? So it says there's no evidence that the bird flu can be transmitted between people. Well, but it will, right? And it already has. Okay, it already has. If you're saying, let me see something here. I think we read it earlier. I think I might have seen. Right. Scientists raised concerns after a person in the U.S. caught the disease from a cow. But yet, this asshole is saying that there is no evidence that the bird flu can be transmitted between people. If you can get it from an animal, how much more a person, bro? Yeah, these people, man. It says, how bird flu could spread. Scenario 1. Virus spreads but doesn't mutate effectively to pass between humans. Infected bird eaten by fox. Infected fox dies of virus. Viral spread reaches its end and only poses low risk to humans who come in contact with infected animal. Low risk, but it's still a risk. Scenario 2 says virus mutates to effectively to pass between humans. Scenario 2 says 1. Infected bird eaten by pig on a farm. A virus spreads among farm animals in close proximity. Then high density of infections cause virus to mutate. Then the mutation makes virus better at passing on to humans. Virus spreads effectively among human populations. So there you go. There you go. So just like that, they just broke it down to you how this can all happen. All right. So that could lead to a major pestilence right there. Okay. And then, of course, you have the earthquakes, which yesterday, like I mentioned earlier, you had a 4.8 earthquake. You had one in the morning, and then you had one later in the afternoon, later into the evening. Okay. Which crazy. I didn't feel anything. All right. But people around me, brothers who are down in the city, they all mentioned, hey, yo, it just hit, my end, two towns away from me. Brothers is like, yo, I'm in class and everybody's bugging out. It's like, oh shit, but it was simultaneously, everybody was like, oh shit. Hey, even the Apostle Tahar, he was in the midst of doing his lesson, right? And then he felt it, and he even said it. He said he got shook a little bit, he threw up a prayer and everything. So it's all going to show you, all right, that the Lord is actually dealing as he said will happen in these last days. Okay. And it's not the last thing that's going to happen. Okay. Earthquakes in diverse places. You had the 7.2 or 7.3 that hit Taiwan, right? And you had a 4.8 that hit New York. So imagine if, I think 2 days ago or 24 hours before the one that hit New York, one hit Cali, right? Or in LA, and it was directly parallel. If you look at the map, it was literally, if you wanted to draw a line from the one that hit LA to the one that hit New York, you get a straight line from left to right. Okay. And I thought that was very interesting as well. All right. That the Lord is basically showing that from one end to the next is about to be game over. All right. From east to west. Okay. There's been a lot of people saying that the so-called eclipse could trigger a major earthquake in the New Madrid fault line. All right. And I think there's another fault line that they're talking about, right, that could really rupture American soil. All right. Who knows? But we'll see. All right. We'll see. All right. But it's prophesied, so it will happen. All right. As we're witnessing now. Okay. And then yesterday as well, you had another one of these information communication lines going down. Right. It says Meta is down. Instagram. I'm going to say it this way. Facebook, Instagram, right? FBI, WhatsApp outages hits thousands of users worldwide due to issues with companies' ads transparency tools. Very interesting, right? All these things happening all at once, right? Let me see. I think there was a one or two more that I saw. So, like I said, you're having all these things. Oh, you've been having some weird weather. All right. Up here in the Northeast, we just had like 2-3 inches of snow. Here it is. We're in April. You know what I'm saying? We're in April and there's snow, like heavy snow. The trees are not even blossoming. You know what I'm saying? It's still like in winter. It's like 36 degrees right now and we're in April. You know what I'm saying? So, the whole system is all messed up. The sun barely comes out nowadays. It's always gloomy. It's always cloudy. You know what I'm saying? It's always like some shit. You know what I'm saying? But things are definitely not normal. You know what I'm saying? And I believe it's all, like I said, and as the prophecies have stated, that these are all signs leading to, like Yahushua said, the beginning of sorrows. Okay, the birth pangs, all right, that's mentioned numerous times by many different prophets, Yahushua and Apostle Paul. Okay, it's all, hey, let's get that. Let's get that. There's a book of Jeremiah. There's a book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 8. It says, "And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth." Okay, and the fourth part of the earth is talking about America, or at least the Western Hemisphere. Okay, It says to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth. Okay, so the key part here, it says with sword and with hunger. Okay, so you put two and two together. What does that tell you? All right, when you look at and I brought this out years ago. All right, I don't know if the page is still up, but there was a website called Deagle. Okay, and on that website, at least when I saw it back in 2015, 2016, they said by 2025, the American population would have dropped from 330 plus million people to about 65 million. So technically they'll have to depopulate about 90% of the American population to get to that number. Okay. And what are two ways of depopulation? You got war and you got famine. Now, famine is a direct effect of war. Okay. When you go to war, you have a direct effect. It hits the economy. And of course, it hits the natural, resources around you and so on and so forth. Okay. You have earthquakes and so on and so forth. These are all things that leads to famines. Okay. But the Lord is basically about to give them the go ahead to start offing a lot of people in the millions. Okay. In the millions to fulfill this prophecy right here. All right. That says, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beast of the earth. Okay. So, like I said, evil is coming. And who knows, like I said, what's going to happen after April 8th. All right. It could be the Lord saying, all right, now you got your go ahead. Start doing what needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, we're going to pay attention, man. We're going to see what's going to happen. All right. But let's read this in Matthew 24. As Yahushua said, the beginning of sorrows, right? Here's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, right? All these three things will be happening simultaneously in many different places, right? Many meaning great, right? Megas, I believe. Or maybe let's look into it real quick. Hold on. Let's see. Am I reading the right? Let me see. No, I think I was, that'll be Luke. I believe that's where it has the word many in there. But basically, again, it's going to be happening in diverse places. I think, let me go into the word diverse real quick. Maybe it might be that. In diverse places. Kata. Kata says here, various locations, diverse locations, different locations. So you had Taiwan and then you have New York, like two completely different places, two completely different geographical locations, two completely different cultures, people, lifestyle, right? But yet they suffer the same fate. Okay. So let's continue. It says, and all these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay. So we're now just beginning. This is all a sign of the beginning of sorrows. Like we've been talking about Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble. This is the beginning of that. Okay. And this year is beautifully coined through the Spirit. All right. That the Lord sent to the Apostle Tahar to coin this year, the year of the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. Okay. That's the sign. That's the end right there. Because at the end of all of this, that's when it says immediately after the tribulation, right? Let's get that real quick. Yahushua said, Matthew 24 and 21, it says, for then shall be there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. And except those days shall be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Okay. And when you jump down to verse 29, it says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then, right? And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And then what's he going to do? And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect, not the whole world, not everybody on the earth, not you so-called Christians that preach God loves and we should all love each other because we're all God's chosen people and God's children. No, it says, and he shall gather, and they shall gather his elect. So he has to choose you, his elect, okay, from the four winds, meaning four corners of the earth, from one end of heaven to the other. Okay, so if you're not of the elect, you will not get saved. You're going to see the destruction coming, and you're going to partake in the destruction that's coming. Okay, and hey, quite frankly, America is in the path of the Lord's judgment. Okay, the main course of the meal is going to be served right here in America. All right, and that's going to be what done by thermonuclear fire. All right, so that's what's coming. That's what you're getting ready to look forward to. Once this thing kicks off, let's see what happens on Monday. But once it kicks off, it's all downhill from there. Pain, suffering, anguish, right? Again, distress upon nations, great perplexity, okay? And it never ends until Yahushua comes back to get his elect up out of here, man. Okay? Let me see if I can get one last precept going into it never ends. All right, the pain, suffering is not going to end, all right, until the Lord comes and gets his elect up out of here, okay? There's a book of Amos chapter 5 and verse 16, and we're going to close it out. It says, therefore the Lord Yahweh, power of hosts, the Lord saith thus, wailing shall be in all streets, and they shall say in all the highways, alas, alas, and they shall call the husbandmen to mourning, and such as are skillful of lamentation to wailing. And in all vineyards shall be wailing, for I will pass through thee, saith the Lord Yahweh. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord Yahweh. To what end is it to you or for you? The day of the Lord Yahweh is darkness and not light, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord Yahweh be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? Okay, Amos chapter 5 verse 16 through 20. All right, so once again, man, you know, prepare. All right, because we're definitely living in the times of evil. All right, and if you're of the elect, just think of it as the Lord coming to our aid, just like he did in the time of Mizraim. Okay, we just had the Passover a couple of weeks ago. All right, and we're in that time, all right, of the Lord, you know, doing his miraculous things, just like he did against ancient Egypt. Okay, in all that time, the darkness came. We had light, right? We're in the land of Goshen. We had light, but the rest of the Egyptians were in darkness, total darkness. Okay, so that pain, that suffering, that physical, literal, and figurative darkness that's going to befall America, Babylon the Great. Guess what? The elect are going to have light in all that time. Okay, the Lord said he's going to provide for us. He's going to give us food to eat. He's going to give us water to drink. Basically, we're going to be rejoicing. All right, in the time of trouble, we're going to be rejoicing. So that's all you need to know. Okay, the Lord will take care of his elect, but the rest, evil is come. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it off there. Lord willing, you were edified. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Kodash, the water Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And until next time, Shalom.
The strongest earthquake in 140 years, John.
Look at all of that. And it's not over yet because we've got the eclipse earthquake coming up on Monday. As Deborah Ross was telling us, it's going to be a transformative experience for anybody who is in the area of totality.